We've now heard from authorities and officials in Washington in regards to the terrible collision between a Blackhawk helicopter and a regional American Airlines jet. It's left multiple fatalities, and you'd have to say after that news conference that all hope is much lower, if not lost, for those passengers and crew on board the aircraft. It was a PSA Airlines CRJ 700 jet, 60 passengers, 4 crew on board, collided mid-air with a US Army UH-60 Blackhawk helicopter near Reagan National Airport. Now, the latest we know is that both aircraft crashed into the Potomac River, a freezing river this time of year. Conditions are very, very difficult for the crew. Around 300 firefighters are at the scene in boats. They've asked media nearby who are filming to turn off their lights because it is just so difficult, middle of the night conditions for this crew. The jet, as we have seen, is in pieces, and the helicopter is now also submerged. Now, 18 fatalities are so far confirmed. No survivors have been rescued yet. In fact, listening to the Kansas Republican senator who was talking to CNN, he said it's been 5 hours. We haven't seen any ambulances leave the scene. You would have to say that this is a tragic situation. All flights at Reagan have been halted as the search and rescue continues. And President Donald Trump, who's been in the Situation Room being fully briefed and speaking to people at the scene, he has tweeted, fully briefed on the terrible accident, should never have happened, should have been prevented. Authorities are investigating that mid-air collision now at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport, involving the American Airlines regional jet and the Blackhawk Army helicopter. The incident occurred around 9 p.m. Wednesday night when the flight operated by PSA Airlines, a regional jet, this is quite common in the United States, operated by PSA Airlines, but as you can see from the livery of the plane, it looked to be a small American Airlines jet. It was about to land when it collided with the helicopter, the military helicopter, the Black Hawk chopper. Now, 60 passengers, 4 crew members on board the regional jet, and 3 people on the helicopter, we are told. Texas Governor Ted Cruz confirming there are fatalities. Specific numbers are not yet available. And listening to the news conference, there isn't a huge amount of new information that they know. It's understood that the air traffic control tower, who were watching on in horror, of course, and you have to feel for them, as they were watching as the aircraft was getting so close to the Black Hawk helicopter, they were telling the helicopter, "Can't you see? Pull back and go around," as all of a sudden there was a fireball in the night sky. A webcam has captured that mid-air explosion, raising concerns about the severity of the collision, but now we know, obviously, it is fatal. Emergency services responding, and the airport has been closed. Donald Trump briefed on this. He put out a statement: "I have been fully briefed on the terrible accident which just took place at Reagan National Airport. May God bless their souls. Thank you for the incredible work being done by our first responders. I'm monitoring the situation and will provide more details as they arise." Now, the events occur during a period when the FAA lacks a permanent leader and a huge changeover. The Transportation Secretary, first week in the job, who was speaking at the news conference about that, he's obviously assisting and keeping in control with the White House, contact with the White House. American Airlines now establishing a hotline for inquiries regarding passengers on Flight 5342. The investigation ongoing. Authorities now working, trying to understand the cause of the collision. How did they get so close? These military helicopters have the latest technology to avoid exactly this sort of occurrence, as well as the jet too. It was coming into land, we understand, would have been traveling at about 150 miles an hour mid-air when the collision occurred. And we are being told that there will be further updates throughout the night. The press conference at 1 a.m., officials maintaining the operation still a rescue effort at this stage. Kansas Senator Roger Marshall assuming fatalities. He says, "We mourn with the families who've lost loved ones. No, I'm not a physician, but I'm not stupid. There have been no ambulances leaving here." Earlier in the night, the FAA issuing a statement saying PSA airliner Bombardier CRJ 700 regional jet collided in midair with the Sikorsky 860 helicopter while on approach to runway 33 at Reagan Washington National Airport around 9 p.m. The plane was operated Flight 5342 for American Airlines departed from Wichita, Kansas. The FAA and NTSB will be investigating. The NTSB will lead the investigation. Just a tragic scene there for all of those involved. American Airlines CEO releasing a statement not so long ago talking about the help that they are offering people at the airport. We've seen terribly tragic scenes of people who are waiting for their loved ones, looking at the phone, waiting for any news, any information. But so far, the news seems to be very tragic coming from the scene of the crash at Washington Reagan National Airport.